Okay, they already had their lobby. They were good. They were good to go. Jesus. Jumping right in and spawning in the top right-hand corner here of torches, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sentinels, the #1 seed of the tournament. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player. It is YoungYakov. Here we go. We are going to be settling into our PvZ. And again, ShoWTimE, he was able to make his way through Rebellion in the previous quarterfinals. YoungYakov took down Shameless, and now they face off against each other. Game 1 going to be on torches, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Oh, as I fix up, there we go. As I fix up the player names, and as we settle into our semi-finals. And again, a big shout out to YoungThermal as well. It was his first time competing in the Tuna Cup in our tournament, so big shout out to YoungThermal. And again, my only regret is that we didn't get to see Game 1. I wish we were able to embrace Game 1 and see what YoungThermal brought to the table there. I'm sure something crazy and chaotic, as always. But GG well played. And with that, we have our PvZ, and I'm a little bit curious by the vetoes here. Torches is one of the most vetoed maps of the map pool, very rarely seen. Oh. Is rarely seen here. But now we get to experience it here and now. The reason for this is because the rush distance by air and by ground is quite short on torches. Likewise, we have this gold mineral wall that you can mine through, that you can gain access to towards the center of the map. There are gold bases as well on the right and on the left. We have the healing pad as well, which can be another big factor in this matchup. And as a result, we often don't get to experience this map. So I'm ready. I'm excited. Show us what you got. There are certain all-ins where you can mine through these patches early on and try to gain access to your opponent's side of the map. We'll try to rush into the gold. We've seen that quite often here on torches. Oh, hello. As Yakov, he does mine through those patches. Okay. Is going to be expanding towards his opponent. Another big feature, if you recall, are these massive tumors. They do expire just before the 8-minute mark. I believe it's like 7:56-ish. They do expire. And they will open up at this center of the map as well. And that does create the center base a little bit more exposed, a little bit more accessible. Till then, hatch gas pool, a Stargate opener out of ShoWTimE, nothing crazy, nothing wild. We're going to be opening up, we're going to be settling in. Just going for the initial Stargate. Likewise, Adept does threaten a shade. As Adept say, do shade in. Get that shade into the main base, getting 1, getting 2 drones. The Eva chamber was just a little bit too late. Nice damage here from ShoWTimE as it does shade away. Fury barely pulls out, getting a 3rd drone towards the end. Very nice pickoff, and he does scout the 3rd base. So nice value here with the Adept so far. Typically, harassing like this can be quite risky just because your 3rd base is going to be that much more exposed. But back at home, we're just looking to secure ourselves. There we go. 3rd base now going to be on the way. The Oracles are amassing. The first one is already across the map. The Oracle's moving in. Spores in position. 1 drone goes down. Just the 1. So far, Yakov is keeping up. A lot of Lings did fall earlier, and there's not that many to work with, so ShoWTimE's 3rd base is safe and sound. Yeah, there is no denying it. There's no applying any pressure. So we have 4 Zerglings. Does move out to at least scout. Behind this, we're waiting for our tech of choice, waiting for the Twilight Council, waiting for the Forge. ShoWTimE, if you recall this series against Raynor not too long ago, as we're denying mining here at the 3rd. ShoWTimE, it did show us that he's willing to be hyper aggressive. ShoWTimE, he has a long reputation for being like a defensive wall, you know, Demour, if you will. But against Raynor, at least in the EWC qualifiers, ShoWTimE, he was going for a lot of Glaive Adepts. He was going for some hyper aggressive builds, and he did force Raynor to the ace match. Like, it was crazy play there from ShoWTimE. But here, standard play. Forge, Twilight Council, +1 and Blink. Lings, they do hit the 3rd. Going for the pylon, and it's going to be close. At the same time, Adept, they did move out. That's why they weren't in position. More drones going to be going down. And it's getting out of hand. 4 or 5 drone kills. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, brutal damage. We're still not done. We're shading into the main. Does shade in. More drones going to be falling. Yakov late to respond, late to react. That's going to be 8 drone kills. Adept here towards the third as well. Yeah, Adepts in every base. And from here, 9 workers fall. And this is critical damage. And ShoWTimE's not done. No, he's not done. Okay. Denies mining. No major pickups. Oracles are sharking around. They will get 1 more drone. 10 in total. And Yakov, he has no Zerglings for a counterattack. He has once again only 4 Zerglings remaining. He starts at +1. +1 melee. Lair is on the way, but again, just a really, really rocky start for Yakov. Now, the gold base is a way to recover. True, if he can saturate the gold, if he can get up and running, then he can make up for his earlier losses. But that's only if ShoWTimE is passive. And we spoke about how ShoWTimE in recent times has been more of an aggressive player. I mean, we're even seeing it here. 10 drone kills. And here comes the Prism. Yeah, he's moving out. Gateway explosion. Prism's on the way. ShoWTimE is pushing. He's pushing. He's moving out. He's going to be in the face of Yakov. Again, if ShoWTimE was more passive, if he was more defensive, then Yakov could recover, could bounce back. But that should not happen. Not here. Not now. As we're getting up to 8 gates. Limited gases here at the third. Here comes a Prism. Here comes the move out. And we're just knocking down those tumors. Busting down that wall. What do we have to defend? It's going to be Ling Hydra. I believe Yakov did skip roaches. Yeah, he did skip roaches, going Ling Hydra instead. But unfortunately, because of all the earlier economic losses, he's been redroning, he's been resaturating. That's why the army is it's barely there. Let's bring everything together. Stalker's moving in. We have 36 Lings. We have a handful of Queens. Has to be careful here. All of those ace traps. As a trap. No, it does go off, catching everything. Not like this. And with that, no Zerglings remain. The Queens are exposed, and he's going for the Queens. Does go for the dive. Gets 1, gets 2. He's going to get all 4. And ShoWTimE is snowballing out of control, catching out every single Queen. Again, a brutal stasis trap. Hydras are building up, but they need that support. The base goes down. Stasis trap does run out. Ooh. Meanwhile, the backup stasis triggered here on Broodlings. Okay. Lings, they collapse in, they can hold on. Hydra's dishing out a little DPS behind this, but he's running out of Lings. Yeah, he's running out of Zerglings. Soul blink control here from ShoWTimE. Does blink well. Takes down the Zerglings, dives on the Hydras, and GG gets called. ShoWTimE, he will overwhelm, as ShoWTimE will take game number 1. Whew. GG. ShoWTimE does take a lead in the series. Again, a solid game out of ShoWTimE. Oh. Again, able to just snowball out of control early on, just mass harassment here with the Adepts, with the Oracles, crippling YoungYakov, and then closing it out with that push, with that move out. I believe he was up to 8 to 9 gateways towards the end. Went for the Prism, went for the kill. Went for the kill. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting ready for game number 2. Here we go. As we're getting into game number 2 here. Game 2 is going to be on Persephone. And again, Yakov just had a really rocky start to that game. Hopefully we can tighten things up, bearing in mind as well that the map didn't help YoungYakov either, in the sense that it took even less time for the Adepts to get across the map, to get into the bases, and to harass. But now we'll see if YoungYakov can stabilize and tighten things up early on. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss, representing Sentinels, leading the series 1-0. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, with the blue Zerg player himself down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. It is YoungYakov. He's not young anymore. It's crazy. Yeah. As ShoWTimE does move in for a pylon block, does block the expansion, does force the unnatural natural out of Yakov. from here, we'll see how our players will adapt. In general here, I'm hoping that YoungYakov is able to get a better handle of the early game when it comes to the Adept harass, when it comes to the Oracle harass as well. Pressure is on. ShoWTimE ran through HomeStory Cup like a bus. He had a really good performance, really good showing at HomeStory Cup. It was very impressive. I think what was most exciting to me is that coming into HomeStory Cup, Zan was, I would say, the favorite player coming into it. But if you were watching the playoffs, ShoWTimE did beat Zan. He did beat him, if you recall, in the upper bracket. Zan, he came back and beat him in the rematch, but like clearly ShoWTimE, he showed that, you know, he can have a back and forth against Zan, that both are quite close in skill. So it was very impressive, very impressive. And is definitely looking in form coming into EWC, for sure. Looking in form. Looking in form to take Tuna Cup? Maybe, maybe. Actually, true. Winding it back here, I believe ShoWTimE, he's a bit of a Kong in our tournaments. ShoWTimE has slowly become a regular in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. For those that maybe aren't here over the weekends and not able to tune in to our weekly tournaments on a regular basis, ShoWTimE, I want to say he's come second place 3 times maybe. ShoWTimE, he's had a hard time closing things out in the Tuna Cup, but typically it's players like Bjorn, right? Players like Bjorn that stand in his way. But this week, there's no Bjorn, right? There's no Bjorn in this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup, so ShoWTimE. Oh,
game paused.
We'll see if he can close it out, as it looks like we do have a bit of a pause here. Hopefully everything's okay, as nothing crazy has been going on. Again, it's been a hatch gas pull into a third base outside of the unnatural natural. We're just kind of settling in. Likewise, ShoWTimE going for a Stargate opener as well, which does get scattered by the Zergling. But outside of that, nothing major. We're just getting into our builds, getting into our openers. And I mean, now that we have a little bit of downtime, just quickly checking the history of Tuna Cup. Double checking here. Okay, ShoWTimE. So he came second place to Bjorn in Tuna Cup number 94. He came second place to Bjorn in Tuna Cup number 87. And those are the only two. Those are the only two here. So yeah, ShoWTimE, he's got 2 second places. He's got 2 second places in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. No first place yet. But again, as I mentioned, typically it's Bjorn that shuts him down. This week, I didn't see no Bjorn. I do see, of course, Mixo and Percival on the other side, and they can definitely threaten him. But we'll see. Could be his first. Let's go. Good to be his first. Likewise, of course, Mixo and Percival, I don't think we've seen them in the finals before. Let me double check that as well. Quickly going through our stats. Again, we've got years of results here.
Game resumed.
Percival, he's also in the history of Sparkling Tuna Cup, Percival, he's only ever gotten to the semis. He's never made it to the finals either. So yeah, we might have a bit of a first for a lot of these players, and partly some of that is partly also because our tournament is on Tuesday for the first time, so some of the other players that typically do compete are not here this week. But here we go. Adepts, they do shade into the main. They do shade in. Drone's going to be going down. This is getting already out of hand here. 4 drones going to be falling. Can we get 5? Oh, barely not. Clutch morph in there out of Yakov does save that final drone, but again, 4 drone kills, very nice damage from ShoWTimE. And behind this, opening up Phoenix. Okay, it is going to be Oracle into Phoenix, not double Oracle this time. And the goal here, the purpose of this Phoenix opener or this Phoenix follow-up is to deny vision, is to hunt down Overlords. What do you have for us, ShoWTimE? What's the plan? Lings, they're poking in, they're going to be deflected. Phoenix does pop out. And the Overlord is going to be chased away. Now, what's scary about a Phoenix in this kind of game state here is that this could just be a standard game. This could be a standard opener, and we have seen ShoWTimE embrace this faster Phoenix a little bit more often than other players. The purpose isn't just to hunt down Overlords, this is also a deterrent of muta play. If YoungYakov were to go for Aspire and mutas, there would already be Phoenixes and Phoenix production, like setting up. Just the one Phoenix, but helps with scouting, helps with as a deterrent. Second Oracle has arrived. ShoWTimE's moving out. And he can also lift the Queen. ShoWTimE making his way towards the main. There are 4 queens to defend. Depths, they head towards the third. Eva Chamber does finish up in time. Shades into the main. Busts into the main base. So the Oracles, they come in from behind, going for the stasis. Phoenix as well, looking for damage. And in the end, 7, 8 drone. Oh my god, this is getting out of hand, by the way. 8 drones. 8 more workers go down, and before we can embrace the mid-game ShoWTimE, calm down, baby. Yakov just wants to play some StarCraft. He just wants to get a third. He just wants to saturate us. That's going to be another 10 drone kills for 4 adepts. The Oracle survived. The Phoenix survives as well. Still plenty of energy, finding more drones. Finding more workers. That's going to be 13, 14. Ah, no. 14 worker kills here, and... that is critical damage. That's basically a mineral line. Almost a full mineral line has just gone down. Behind this, ShoWTimE is securing himself here on 3 bases. He wants that tuna back. True. Let's go. Give him the tuna. Where is it? There it is. Beautiful. As Yakov, after all those losses, we have a Baneley Nest on the way. I'm curious to see if we commit to an all-in. Trying to stabilize and macro out of this after so many losses is quite difficult. It's quite a tough ask here to... quite a tough thing to ask of here for Yakov. To try to re-drone and stabilize after all those losses. It's not going to be easy. ShoWTimE does move out. This time he has no prism behind this. He has no way to reinforce except for at his own third. And he wants the fourth. He wants the hatchery. And he's going to get it. There's not enough Zerglings. The base is going to be denied. There's a cancel. Yakov taking bottom right. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE blinks into the main. Blink in. Again, nice stasis, nice bait as well. ShoWTimE, he's having fun. He's it's the ShoWTimE. Ay. Still swing away. Behind this, we spoke about it earlier, it is going to be a Spire, so it headed towards Muta play. I mean, this is one of the ways to recover. If this goes unscouted, Mutas, they can pop off, they can wreak havoc, they can get into a mineral line and deal with the probe line. They can catch out workers. And there is a chance, assuming that the Phoenix doesn't scout, rotating in, getting caught out, taking a lot of hits, and doesn't quite get behind the natural. Now, ShoWTimE, he did scout the Hydras, of course. He saw the Hydras. He's aware of the main composition. I believe he already has Storm. Yep, Storm is complete. High Templar ready. And ShoWTimE is pushing. So on the one hand, yes, the Spire is unscouted, true. He hasn't seen the Spire, he doesn't know that mutas are coming, but it may not matter, because with the arrival of this War Prism, ShoWTimE is going to push, and he's pushing with this, with a Death Ball of an army, with Archons, with Storm, with High Templar, charged out Stalkers, and if Yakov invests too heavily into mutas, then his ground army is going to struggle, and it's going to suffer, and he won't have an army to defend. Speaking of 10 mutas, 10 mutas are on the way, and here comes ShoWTimE. As we're still waiting for that War Prism. As the Prism has arrived, ShoWTimE, never mind. Instead of pushing, he's getting ready for the push. He's assuming that his opponent's all inning. So we have stasis traps, cannons, shield batteries. He is a fully walled up. Jesus, he's fully walling up, preparing for a push that isn't coming because Yakov, he's expanding, he's taking gases, he's droning. Mutas are on the way instead. So ShoWTimE, he does have a bit of a misread here. So misread out of ShoWTimE. Mutas, they do bust into the main. Going for the cannon, going for the mineral line. Probes are going down. So far, so good. Catching out 6 workers. 6 probe kills. Yakov likewise moving in, but remember, ShoWTimE, he's ready for this. He's ready for the ground push. That's the one thing he is ready for. Likewise, more Phoenixes are building up. Lee Main rolls in. Ooh, ideally, he does want those High Templar. Doesn't quite make it through. Yeah, the storms are brutal. And my big concern as well, depending on how aggressive ShoWTimE is going to be, is that the tech is delayed, right? The Lurker Den is late, the Hive is late. The reason why this tech is late is because of the investment into the Mutas. And Mutas, they've done some damage. True, they did kill some workers. 7 probe kills in total. But I'm still worried about the ShoWTimE's max out. I'm worried about his push. Assuming he does move out. Oh, God. As Mutas are getting caught out. And again, Yakov, he is vulnerable at least until Lurkers kick in, right? Lurker Den is just now finishing. And if he can warp in a wave of Lurkers, he can hold. He can hold, he can survive. Speaking of Sky, we're going to Sky. Never mind. wait. Settle in, Babby. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to... ShoWTimE, after, you know what? After being aggressive in game 1 and after being aggressive in the first half of this game as well, he's like, you know what? I'm going to calm things down. I have a nickname for a reason. Let's tech up. Let's embrace SkyToss. Let's go. But he's still pushing, thankfully. Okay. For a moment, I thought it was going to be passive and defensive, but no, he's moving out. He'll be able to remax with SkyToss as Lurkers have arrived. So far, there are 8 Lurkers. The main counterattack is getting ready. ShoWTimE just rotate, catches a queen. Nice stasis. Stasis goes off the mailings. ShoWTimE does zone away, rotating once again towards that left-hand base. At the same time, Zealot Runby does distract YoungYakov. Mailings are rolling in, but Zealots are in position. And Zealots, they will defend. They'll tank the mailings. Hatchery does go down. The Lurkers are exposed. And he's just diving in. He goes for the mass lift. Lurkers are going down one after the other. It's going to be 4 or 5 Lurker kills. There's 3 Lurkers left. Things are being dealt with. And there's still plenty of Phoenixes. He can still lift. And again, 3 Lurkers. That is not going to be enough. More Runbys are moving in. Catching up reinforcements. ShoWTimE. Again, I feel like he can still push in. Now up to 5 Lurkers. And now with 5, it's going to be a little bit more risky here. Yeah, ShoWTimE, he pokes forward. Thinks better of it. Pulls away. Tempest production has begun. Oh! Bit of mispathing. Catching out 2 Archons. Look at these stasis traps. As ShoWTimE, he backs off. He backs off from here. Again, building up Tempest, building up his mothership, getting into SkyToss, perfecting his army. And Yakov, he's 1 step behind. Still 1 step behind at this point. I'm impressive that he's been able to make it this far and been able to max out despite the early game. But the problem is, tech-wise, he needs that Spire. I say that, he actually already has one, true. Second Spire is on the way, let's go. From here, we can go into double upgrades in towards Corruptors. Prism towards the main. Big rotation on the left-hand side. ShoWTimE not quite in position. Lurkers are moving in. Let's go. Dives on the mothership. Mothership will barely get away. Mothership does survive, but the mineral line does not. Yeah, 16 probe kills, not bad. Phoenix as they push forward. A Lurker is going to be going down, and no detection there for Yakov, and at the same time, the Prism does not quite get into the main. But it's just outside. Takes down the Lurkers. YoungYakov, he's on the run. Down to 2 Lurkers. Uh-oh. Yeah, 2 Lurkers left, down to 1! 1 Lurker remaining. And the Prism is here. Yeah, the Prism is already here to reinforce. ShoWTimE can keep pushing. Again, there's 1 Lurker to defend. There's 6 more in production. The High Templar, they're ready. They have plenty of energy. Final Lurker goes down. Oh! Bailings, they don't quite connect. Storms pop up, lurkers are denied, and ShoWTimE, he's done it. He's broken through. And again, on one hand, yes, Yakov, he was able to somewhat stabilize and somewhat max out, but tech-wise, he was behind. Tech-wise, he was just one step behind. Couldn't quite leverage it. The meter play was unfortunately not as successful as he wanted. And storms are popping up. GG gets called, ShoWTimE will overwhelm, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played, ShoWTimE. He will claim the series, he will advance on. Despite that, shout out to YoungYakov here for making a game out of it, especially game 2. Like, game 1 was more one-sided. For sure. Game 1 was more one-sided. Game 1 was more intense. Here in Game 2, YoungYakov had a rough start, but he was able to max out. He was able to get an economy. Unfortunately, again, because of the meter play, he was a little bit later to get into lurkers, and even then, by the time he got into lurkers, because it was that much more delayed, we did see that ShoWTimE, he was already embracing SkyToss. He was already getting ready for Tempest as a transition as well. So again, Yakov, he was just one step behind in terms of that tech, and he didn't really have much map control either. When ShoWTimE decided to push, Yakov could not stop him. No shot. Could not stop that army. And with that, GG. GG, well played. That leads us here into our next game. That leads us into our next series. Let's catch up on the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed.